Andrew Bolt can't help himself. Whenever there's an opportunity to have a shot to target Indigenous people, he will, and he's done it again. I just want to say to people, please remember to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for further notifications, do what you need to do so that the algorithm gets the sense that you like what I'm doing, and it will therefore do what it can in order to make sure that my videos are viewed. I really do appreciate it. Do want to be able to say something about what is saying here is that basically the Aboriginal activists are drawing a line between what's happening in Gaza, is the IDF, and their Indigenous persons' version of colonialisation. So, and rightfully so, there is a parallel that one could argue that does it, or connecting lines, I should say, that connects these two together. And they're using what happens in Israel and Gaza as a through line between colonisation and the colonisation of Palestinian people. And I think it's a reasonable line to be drawn. But Andrew Bolt, of course, finds it offensive. So I'm going to play, unfortunately, a clip from Andrew where he discusses this. I mean, he's particularly upset by the fact that the Royal Commission had an elder from the Indigenous community who gave a welcome to country and talked about the way that Indigenous people since 1770 have been treated by white people. And I think or the colonisers, I should say. So it's interesting to see that Andrew must always focus on this issue. The man expressed extreme versions of racism, which are troubling to me. And he expresses it in a way which is so divisive, lacking understanding as to what the Indigenous person's experience actually is to this very day. And he must at all costs defend the white version of colonisation, ignoring completely what the experience not only has been historically, what is happening now for Indigenous people, and also, I think, ignoring the history that is very much a part of the Indigenous experience. And it is troubling that he keeps putting forward this divisive approach to the issues around Indigenous rights. So I'll play this video for you, and you can make up your own mind as we go through it.
The Albanese government's Royal Commission into Anti-Semitism opened today, and I was shocked, worse than I'd expected, and by far, that hostile welcome to country ceremony and the reaction of the Royal Commissioner Virginia Bell to it. Before I show it to you, some vital background. After the horrific Bondi massacre of Jews, this Royal Commission should be examining the dangerous tribalising now of Australians, the race politics that's dividing us into tribes and turning us against the...
And what fascinates me most about those sorts of comments is that Andrew Bolt's doing exactly the same. The very thing that is rallying against is the very thing that is doing. He's creating division, he's creating hate, he's creating fear as a result of this sort of rhetoric. Yet Andrew isn't capable, it seems, of understanding the division that he himself is causing.
Each other. And another thing is how radical anti-Israel protesters have very deliberately united with Aboriginal activists to make common cause against allegedly colonial powers, Israel and Australia, as well as...
So we're confronted now with a relevant truth, I think, and that is that here he is left with two areas of attack. Firstly, his defense of Israel and what they're doing in Gaza, and as you'll hear later, his connection between what's happening in Gaza and anti-Semitism. This is who this man is. He is the most divisive force in the media right at this moment, And we can see this accelerating over time. And of course, the other thing too is I think that it adds to the debate that we're having around One Nation and their version of racism as well.
Spreading their toxic anti-Israel hate. It's very successful, very dangerous.
The parallels between what happened here and what happened in Palestine are absolute. Always was, always will be. From the river to the sea.
We share one fight
to free our lands and communities.
Israel has no right to exist. Palestine has every right to resist by any means necessary. Don't finish off with a chant. We've got the Black People's Union. Stand back, liberation and colonial occupation.
And if I have to burn down Parliament House to make a point, and I'm there to free Palestine from the river to the sea.
Now that's the background. So it was so reckless to start this Royal Commission into anti-Semitism with this very angry non-welcome, praising Aborigines who also waged war for their alleged sovereignty against their alleged colonisers and accusing them of alleged atrocities.
Now, tell me, try this angry. There's nothing angry about this bloke at all. Yet it's interesting to use that language when the person who is the most angry person in all of this happens to be Bolt himself.
In the circumstances, what occurred in December, it means that sorrow in business is part of the way of life, as we see in Australia. But also I want to acknowledge our greatest warriors, Pamoy, Bangaroo, Mosquito, and Windanight. These are our legendary warriors who fought for this country. And a welcome to country is about talking about their relationship to the land. In particular, when the tall ships came through Sydney Harbour in 1770. We're still fighting for our land rights. We're still fighting for our sovereignty because we never signed a piece of paper to say we're giving up this land. And we know that atrocities have been committed against us, and we're still wanting a reckoning. Like yourselves, you're finding a reckoning and a solution to the problems we faced every day since 1770 about Australians respecting us and Australians respecting all of us.
Now, I don't know if that man, Alan Murray, meant to draw the same incendiary analogy between Aboriginal fighters and Hamas and between oppressive Australia.
I can't see how he was drawing an incendiary analysis in the way that Bolt was, but that's kind of what Bolt wants us to believe.
And oppressive Israel. But I guarantee that many activists watching would have. And even presuming that Murray intended no such thing, how on earth was that a welcome to the rest of us, to this country we all call home? And how appropriate was it to hijack this Royal Commission as a Jew hatred by listing his own grievances against non-Aboriginal Australians? All that was appalling enough, and evidence that Aboriginal activism is crossing a very dangerous line, nursing unappeasable grievances and celebrating warfare. But now listen to how the Royal Commissioner responded to this farce of a welcome.
Thank you for that warm, inclusive and empathetic welcome to country.
Warm, inclusive and empathetic?
Well, actually, I thought it was. But nevertheless, because you're Andrew Bolt, there's no way in the world you're going to see another perspective around the Indigenous quest for understanding about the notion that colonialisation has impacted Indigenous people in the way that it has, and still does. Andrew Bolt, Sky News and the right wing will never, ever be able to get it. They will never understand the connection. And the fact that they're making this connection now between what's happening in Gaza and Palestine in general, and what the IDF are doing, and connecting that with Indigenous activists seems fair enough to me. because someone needs to shout this out from the highest point possible in order to make the point that Indigenous issues are still on the agenda. They are local. They affect so many people that we need to find ways to do something about it. And certainly racism as an issue, which is being expressed overtly by people like Andrew Bolt and Sky News, needs to be addressed as well. In fact, Andrew, to some extent, is painting the picture that needs to be painted about where racism sits in this country, because he is the spokesperson for racism, for white people seeing themselves as being superior to black people. It's the way it is for Andrew, and we need to speak up against it whenever we can. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, to ring the bell for further notifications, because there's plenty more to come. And also, I just need to say, could people please remember to watch my video, my live feed today at 3 o'clock with Avery. It will be a ripper. We'll catch you then. Take care.